Over the years, an assortment of bizarre items has been found on the world's beaches. Some have been living creatures, others dead marine animals, still others inanimate objects. A strange sea foam has washed ashore, carrying a variety of everyday items with it that beachgoers don't see on the beach every day. Cast-off casings and even a phallic animal out of Sigmund Freud's worst nightmare have also washed or crawled ashore. As this list of 10 bizarre objects found on beaches indicates, the mysteries of the deep are strange indeed. 10 bizarre objects found on beaches. Number 10. Glowing rock. On February 22, 2021, Mantana Dawul Pabul decided to go for a walk on the beach in Nakhon Si Thammarat Province, Thailand. There, she saw a piece of coral. Collecting it as a souvenir, she took a closer look at her discovery and found the bizarre object was glowing. She shone the light with her phone on the strange specimen, and when its red color brightened, she wondered whether the object could be a meteorite. After she returned home, she observed that the unusual mineral had changed color. Instead of red, it was now purple. Neither Mantana nor her friends had been able to identify the strange object. She hopes an expert might be able to tell her what she found during her walk on the beach. Number 9. Blue dragons. It's light blue and it looks like a lizard, the dark blue correlation on its back outlining its body. The marine animal's feet are quite different from those of a reptile though, seeming to explode in bizarre starbursts, the spiky rays of which differ in length from one another. Although it's unusually called a blue dragon, scientists know it as Glaucus atlanticus, a type of nudibranch, a gastropod without a shell or true gills. Normally, the blue dragon floats in the ocean, but the wind sometimes blows a whole fleet of them into Australian beaches. Besides the 3-centimeter-long Glaucus atlanticus, the 13-centimeter-long Glaciella marginate, also a nudibranch that closely resembles its smaller cousin and is likewise called a blue dragon, occasionally blows ashore. Both the smaller and larger blue dragons belong to the Plouston, which lives partly in water and partly in the air and relies on the winds to carry them places. Although blue dragons can't swim against ocean currents, the tiny animals are able to spin themselves around to perform somersaults by sucking air into themselves. The air forms a bubble inside them, helping them stay afloat and to remain upside down. Despite their restricted mobility, blue dragons are predators in their own small world, feeding on blue buttons, colonies of hydroids, and blue bottles, colonies of polyps, while relying on their correlation to blend in with the ocean surface and avoid attacks by other predators. Number 8. Gooseneck barnacles. To Martin Green, who saw it while vacationing with his family in Carnarvon, North Wales, the odd object his wife Gemma found looked like driftwood. When he examined it more carefully, however, Green discovered that the item was covered with thousands of tentacled sea creatures. To him, it looked like something not of this world. The internet search that Green and his son conducted solved the mystery of the marine animal's identity. Gemma had found gooseneck barnacles. Green also made another discovery. His wife's find was valuable. A delicacy in Spain and Portugal, gooseneck barnacles were worth $34.82 each. Green estimated that the driftwood would yield about 2,000 of the barnacles. Not a bad day's catch. Number 7. Sea foam. The strange sea foam that washed ashore on Australia's beaches in New South Wales in December of 2020 was a gift that kept on giving. Storms churned up the mix of seawater, algae, salts, fats, and pollutants that created the thick layer of foam that spread over the surface of the water. Weird in itself, the foam also brought a variety of other bizarre objects to the beaches, including deadly sea snakes, giant spiders, trees, logs, and even half a cow. A dog had to be rescued from the foam, and authorities warned tourists and locals to keep away from these beaches and avoid swimming at all costs to ensure their safety. Number 6. Unidentified carcass. Was the eerie carcass that washed onto a Mexican beach in February of 2020 a dolphin? If it was certainly a strange one. It had no eyes, and its teeth were much larger, more curved, and sharper than those of dolphins' typically short, blunt, only slightly curved teeth. And dolphins, of course, have eyes. Maybe the mysterious creature that washed ashore at Destilares in the western Mexican state of Jalisco was an eel. Its lower body lacked fins and flukes and was much narrower than that of a dolphin's anatomy. While these guesses are reasonable, no one, including fishermen, could identify the carcass with any certainty. Its lack of eyes suggested that the sea creature might have come from the depths of the sea, perhaps from the 1,000-meter-deep marine area in Puerto Vallarta. Although, if so, no one had any idea how the animal could have been carried onto the shore from such a depth. Number 5. Decapitated corpse. During her cleanup at a beach in Perdido Bay in November of 2020, a woman identified only as Kathleen found more than trash or debris. She encountered a headless, barnacle-encrusted corpse, which she reported to Ocean Hour, the nonprofit environmental group with whom she was doing volunteer work. A bystander had already notified the police of the macabre object. The victim, Kathleen saw, had been decapitated, or so she thought. Unfortunately, although the corpse certainly looked human, authorities determined that it was, in fact, a mannequin. Its origin and the amount of time that had been spent in the water remain mysteries. Number 4. Sea pork. The eyes, the mouth, and a portion of the face and head could be discerned in the strange mass that the sea deposited on the sands of the Irriganan Beach in Hervey Bay, southern Queensland, Australia in February of 2020. The woman who discovered it posted a photograph of her find on Facebook, but none of the members of the social media group could identify the remains. They agreed only that the discovery was not part of a stonefish because stonefish have rough skin, but the creature the woman found and photographed had smooth flesh. Group members took several stabs at identifying the lump, venturing such guesses as soft coral, ambergris, shark excrement, and even a whale's placenta. Even Professor Sandy Degnan of the University of Queensland's School of Biology Science wasn't sure what the mass was, although she suspected it was probably a sea pork, which she described as a kind of sea squirt related to the conjovi, so called because of its tendency to squirt out water. Fishermen, she added, eviscerate the creatures and use the animal's guts as fishing bait. Number 3. Hoodwinker. Although they are described in various ways, one depiction of the hoodwinker seems closest to its actual appearance: an enormous floating head. Adding with fins would make the picture even more complete and accurate. Hearing of the strange sea creature on February 19, 2019, after it washed ashore on the beach at Coal Oil Point Reserve near Santa Barbara, California, conservation specialist Jessica Nielsen posted photographs of its carcass on the Nature Reserve's Facebook page, where the pictures caught the eye of UC Santa Barbara's professor Thomas Turner. Visiting the site, he uploaded his own pictures of the sea creature on the iNaturalist social platform. In Australia, a researcher notified marine scientist Marianne Nygaard, suspecting that the carcass was that of a fish she discovered and named the hoodwinker. Sure enough, it was a hoodwinker, she confirmed, later verifying her identification through genetic testing. A species of sunfish, the scientific name for which is Molotecta, the hoodwinker is common to tropical and temperate ocean waters. Reaching up to 8 feet in length, it can weigh several thousand pounds. Its appearance on a California beach puzzled scientists since the hoodwinker has rarely been spotted in the northern hemisphere. Was it a stray? Was the creature's seemingly sudden penchant for long-distance travel the result of the warming of oceans due to climate change? Were changes in ocean currents carrying the hoodwinker's food source, jellyfish, to new parts of the ocean causing the hoodwinkers to follow? For now, these questions remain unanswered mysteries. Number 2. Worm casings. The fragile tubes look like twigs frozen in ice. The small, silvery filament-like objects don't coat tree branches, though. They wash up on Oregon beaches. The dislodged shells of cellophane worms are commonly known as tube worm casings. As Tiffany Booth of Seaside Aquarium explains, cellophane worms live just below the low tide line of sandy beaches, where they construct and reside inside the tubes, which become encrusted with sand and are washed ashore and distributed along the beach by surf, currents, and upwellings. Coastwatch's Fawn Custer pointed out that the cellophane worms, which feel like hair, are always present. At times, under certain conditions, they are unearthed and scattered on shore by the action of waves. Normally, the diminutive worms suck in their food, tiny bits of formerly living matter, through their tubes, which rise close to the surface of the sand. When their tubes are detached by surf or currents, the worms secrete a kind of goo that eventually hardens into another tube. Number 1. Massive ice balls. Hefty ice spheres as big as basketballs and weighing as much as 50 pounds clustered along the northeastern coast of Lake Michigan in 2013. Ice balls like these begin as bits of slush and ice crystals shaped by the rolling motion of waves close to shore. They are commonly glimpsed in the area during the winter months, but they rarely grow this large, according to Tom Ulrich, Deputy Superintendent for the park where the icy lumps were found. Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to stay informed about our upcoming videos because more incredible content is on the way.